All right, in this part of the lesson, we're going to be using PEMDAS to help us evaluate. So now we're going to be involving more than just one part of or one exponential form. We're going to have other adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing involved within that. So when we look at this, we have to review what our PEMDAS means. So PEMDAS is parentheses, exponents or roots, multiplying and dividing. Remember, we work left to right, and then adding and subtracting left to right. So my first step is, do I have any parentheses? No, I do not. Okay, so no parentheses. Do I have any exponents? Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and solve this part. So 3 to the 4th power, which is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So that 3 is going to appear 4 times. Gives me 81. So I just got 81 for that part. I'm going to bring everything else down because that's what I need to be successful. So I'm done with my exponents. I'm now going to look for any multiplying or dividing. Now this is where we tend to have kids make mistakes because it's kind of like once they get rid of those exponents, they think, oh, I need to work left to right. Remember, you have to work step by step. So do I have any multiplying or dividing? Yes, I do right here. So I'm going to take my 81 times 2, and that gives me 162. And now I'll bring down that 3 and that plus sign. So now when I add those together, I get 165. Okay, reviewing that PEMDAS, we have to take it step by step. Okay, where that exponent is, also roots, if they involve roots. But right now we're working exponents, so they probably won't do that. So let's review on this one. It's been a while since we've worked with this. Okay, back in 7th grade, we worked with that. That's what they call absolute value. So we're going to solve everything within that. And then we're going to tell absolutely how many places away from 0 that answer would be. So we'll go ahead and follow our PEMDAS within that. So do we have any parentheses? No, we don't. Yeah, we can think of this as a symbol of inclusion. Okay, so if we had more information either in front of or behind, in front of or on either side of that, we would then go ahead and solve what's between our absolute value bars. That kind of falls into that parentheses part, that symbols of inclusion portion. But we don't have anything there, so we know that, yes, we have to solve everything within these 2 lines first. Okay, do we have any exponents? Yes, we do. Okay, that negative sign sitting out in front, which means I'm just going to write it. Now I'm going to solve 3 to the power of 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3, that's my third one, is 27. And then I have divided by 27. And those are still within the absolute value bar. Now we'll go ahead and do this part. So 27 divided by 27 is 1. And I have 1 negative, so it's a -1. Remember, when we multiply and divide, we count how many negatives there are. Now we're going to give the final answer. What is the absolute value of -1? Absolutely, how far is -1 from 0? It is 1 place. So our final answer is a +1. Anytime you have absolute value, your answer is always going to be positive, unless they happen to throw like a negative or a negative symbol on the outside of that, but there isn't one here. So our final answer is a +1. I know, reviewing those skills, those orders of operation. Okay, so let's try this one. Let's go ahead and look. Do we have any parentheses? No. Do we have any exponents? Yes, right here. So 2 to the power of 5. 2 times 2, 3, 4, 5 times gives me 32. Now, when I'm doing that on a calculator, I will count. I'll punch in the first 2, and then I hit times, and then I count. The second time I hit it, I say 2, 2, or 3, 4, 5, so that I count how many 2s I put in there, not how many times I hit the times sign. Okay, so I got 32 there. So I'm going to bring everything else down. So I have 9, I have this minus sign, and I have this times 0.5. Okay, so I brought everything down. I'm done with my exponents. Do I have any multiplying or dividing? Yes, I do, right here. I like to circle that. Now, I could circle that negative sign with it, or I can think of it as a minus sign. So right now, I'm thinking of it as a minus sign. So I have a 9 and a minus, and now I'm going to figure out what 32 times 0.05 is. Well, that's the same as doing half of 32. If you're comfortable with working with half of 32, which I'm comfortable with, that gives me 16. If you need to use your calculator to double check yourself, go ahead. Okay, so I'm done with all of my multiplying and dividing. Now I do any adding or subtracting. So I have a 9 minus 16 Okay, so here's where I have to revert back to, okay, the bigger number has a negative sign in front, so my answer is going to be negative. And then I'm going to find the difference between 16 and 9, which would be 7. So final answer is -7. All right. I want you guys to pause your video and try the second one. So remember, you're going to follow your PEMDAS. Okay, so I'll erase that off. So go ahead, pause your video, work through it, and then check back when you're finished to check your answer. You should have gotten a -5 for this one. So you'll notice that I did 64 divided by 2. Somebody else might have done -64 divided by 2, which would have given you -2. Either way, you still ended up with a negative sign in front of your 32. Okay, then we went through and found the difference between 32 and 7 because one was positive and one had a negative sign in front of it. Larger number was negative, which is how we got our -5. Okay, so good luck with this. Just remembering to review your PEMDAS, making sure that you're showing your steps. Double check yourself on your calculator if you need to. Okay, if you show your steps, you can then compare with a partner if you're not getting the same answer. So good luck with this.